Something is not right. It does not want to. Camera's not working right, or what the deal is. Something is not right. Now, people, I don't know. You don't have access to this feature. What? Why not? Stop, Mercy. Mercy, stop. I don't need you licking my face. I don't know what's going on here. Trying to go live. It's not going live. No. Microphone. Why? Okay. What about the camera? I don't know about the camera. It's not. I'm not seeing me. Live streaming. This tab is using your camera or microphone. Okay, fine. But I'm not. It's not showing me. Okay, I don't know if I'm really live or not. For the first time ever, I'm looking at a screen and I am still. Nothing's going on. It shows a picture of me, not a very good picture, I might add, but it's like it's not there. I don't know if. Let me see here. This is a test. See, well, that's working. Why is it not showing me? Webcam. What's the problem with the webcam? You don't have access to this feature. Why? What is this? I don't know what's going on. Okay. Heaven bound, you say it looks good. You can. I'm waving. Can you see me wave? Because I don't see me waving. I just see a still picture of me. I mean, if you guys can see, not that I have anything to look at, but that is very bizarre. Okay, well, I'm gonna roll with it then. I mean, not that I have anything spectacular. I mean, it's just this is the ceiling / wall of my room. It's still just a little bit chilly to be out in the barn. Sounds good, looks good. I just can't see anything. Okay, on my screen, it's not doing anything. So I don't know. I don't know why, but it's not. So I can't fix my hair even. So, anyway, oh, bizarre. I'll tell you. You just never know, huh? Technology. Uh, so anyway, yes, the rain has finally stopped. We've had no rain yesterday, even though it was cloudy and still feeling a little bit dampish. Today feels so much better. Hello, Mercy. What are you doing? Huh? She says, "Are you talking to yourself again, you weird woman? You gonna come up? What?" Okay. I don't mind her. It's just I don't like her licking my face. Okay. Now what are you gonna do, huh? She's purring like crazy. Yeah. Okay. Now what are you gonna do? So she is no longer uh confined. She's allowed to go in and out now. Um and she's at that age where she is sometimes obnoxious. Uh but you know, hopefully she'll grow out of it before too long. My ground is too wet to do anything. Yes. Same here, but it is getting better. It is getting better. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with this live stream, I'm thinking I am going to put my boots on and try and go and scatter some pasture seed because I'm really late doing it. Uh, I was thinking about doing it before the rain came, but they were talking about rain at heavy that would be heavy at times. So I was afraid that it would wash the seed away instead of help it to germinate. So I did not uh, sow my seed. So I really need to get something out there and hope that it germinates and it comes back up. It comes up because I got critters I got to feed. I have a horse and a steer that think they want to eat some nice grass. So I'm hoping I can get that sown today, that I can get it scattered, and hopefully it'll take. So long as the chickens do not eat every seed I put out there. That's my main concern. Because the chickens will think, oh, she's throwing out seed for us to eat. No. Oh. Anyway, I don't know if you remember last week, there was an issue with sugar, and I was not really sure what her problem was. I knew that there was a problem, and I did not know what it was. How is the goat feet? With the exception of Billy, they seem to be pretty good. There's a couple of them I was looking at. I really should try and trim them up. They're not real bad. Billy is having an ongoing issue with the hoof rot. So I've got medicine, and when I put the medicine on his feet, it's like he's fine. I mean, he's running around, he's playing. It's like it gives him immediate relief. So I just noticed him today. He was walking sore, so I need to get hold of him and do his feet again, which is fun because with him I have to tie him up, which means I have to lasso his horns and tie him to a post or a tree or something. Otherwise, he'll try and ram me with his horns, and it's like, okay, we don't want to be rammed with horns, especially the pointy end of it. So, I mean, he is a buck, 100% a buck, and this is what you got to deal with, you know. So, but yeah, I'll get hold of him hopefully this afternoon and treat him. I was going to try and keep him in this morning, but he wasn't going to have it. I know he wanted to go out as sore as he was. He wanted to go out with the other goats, and it's like I knew if I tried to keep him in, that he would be destroying my gate. So it's like, okay, fine, I'll let you out. Um, I am going to have to try and rig up something that's beefier for him or for any buck really. The gates that I have built out of pallet wood, uh, the hinges are not strong enough. I've been using the hinges that I took out of our cabin here because they use the hinges for the roof to get that up. And so I took all the hinges and I'm reusing them for different things. So I don't think they're strong enough to put up with a buck that is ramming things. So I need something a little bit beefier. So um, so I can keep him in when necessary. Um, but you have to have one goat with a personality. I think he wins with that prize at times. He really is. He's a good boy. As bucks go, he's not really bad. I can touch him. The only thing is that I don't know if he's trying to play with me or if he is trying to test my dominance or what. But there's been a couple of times when I have had to wrestle him because he was coming at me with his horns. But I've seen him play with the other goats, and I've seen him play with Sheba that way. So I hesitate to say that he is testing um, my authority. He may be, or he may be just simply playing. I'm not sure. Oh, hi, Swampy Acres. So anyway, but still, I mean, I'm an old woman. I don't need a buck trying to ram me with his horns or trying to sideswipe me with his horns. And this is the nature of the beast, okay? Um, I will probably never have more than one buck. Um, at least at this point, I don't think so anyway. Because I have to be able to handle one, and they can be, they're hot, they're strong. So far, I've been able to manage um, to get the message across that, dude, I don't care what you think about yourself. I'm bigger and badder than you are. Okay. One time was uh, purely accidental because he was on the upside of the hill. I was on the downside of the hill, and he was coming at me, and I was holding on to him, and it was muddy and it was slippery, and I slipped and I came down, but then he slipped and he kind of rolled over, and so he was upside down, and I took advantage of it and I got on top. Was first, please hit it up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so I had him on his back, and this is something I saw on another goat channel there. He does this with his goats. Sometimes you have to, you know, assert your dominance and let them know that you're the boss. Okay. And so putting him over on his back, and I was able to hold him in place until he relaxed. And then it's like, okay, I'll let you up, So anyway, I've had that happen twice now that I've had to do that with him, and then after that happens, then he's pretty good for the most part. But I don't try not to turn my back on him. He's a buck, okay. Honestly, I think a ram is worse than a buck, but because a ram will just come out of nowhere and run into you, whereas a buck, he gets up on his hind end and he comes, tries to ram you down like this. That's what they do. Okay. They get up on their hind legs and then they come down like this. Okay. That being their head. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a warning, and you can do something. You can throw them off their balance or what have you. Okay. So between the two, a buck or a ram, I'll take a buck. Okay. Really, I'll take a buck. So anyway, so last week, I said I had a problem with sugar. I wasn't sure what the problem was. Well, I would keep a bucket with me. When he comes after me, I'd put the bucket in his on his head. There you go. Yeah, that could confuse him a little bit. So anyway, I sent a text. I finally sent a text to the vet. I had seen something in the morning, and I wasn't sure. I thought that was not a good thing, what I saw, and I kept tabs on her all day, um, checking her every 20 minutes or so to see, okay, what's going on? Is there any sign of any further problems like that? Was she getting ready to kid, which would have been premature? I just wasn't sure what was going on. But then that evening, I saw the presentation again, and that's when, okay, I texted the vet and I described everything I saw, everything that was going on. And I said, the first thing, when I saw it, the first thing that came to my mind was a prolapse. Okay. And I said, but this doesn't a prolapse only occur during or after kidding? And from my description, he said, he texted back, vaginal prolapse. Okay. And he said, unfortunately, it happens more than you care for it to happen. It's not all that uncommon, but with the conversation, everything we had, here's the deal. Once Sugar kids, that's it. She's done. She will not be able to be bred again, because he said that once they start doing that, um, it just gets worse with each subsequent breeding. So, unfortunately, that means I have to rehome Sugar. I love Sugar. She is the sweetest thing. She's always coming up to me. She's always loving on me. She was the one, if I wasn't giving her enough attention, she'd put her paw up on my back or my leg or something. It was like, give me some attention, give me some attention. And she was just so cute, and I'd always rub on her, and it's like she was just such a sweetie. And it breaks my heart that I can't keep her. And the reason I can't keep her is because I am a I'm into goat breeding. And to run the risk of her being accidentally bred could be devastating for her. So therefore, she has to go someplace where she will be a pet. There are those that would a goat like that would just be sent to market. Okay. I have seen a tool that can be used on a lamb. Yeah, that was something we were talking, the vet and I were talking about. They said they don't really fit a goat very well. They're the wrong length or something. Um, and really, ideally, to have to deal with that every time she's been bred. I'm not sure that would be good. He said that um, what you have to do is there's a space issue inside of her. Okay, either her body's not long enough, or she's just everything that's inside of her just is not roomy enough. And so as the kid grows, it's pushing on the vaginal wall, okay, on the vagina, and it's pushing it out because it's got to go someplace. Um, so there's oh there the other is there's the other thing that takes up room inside is the bladder. And he said, well, you could put a catheter in there, but that is some additional problems, okay, and it's not really practical. Um, what he said to do, and this is what I have done, is we have to practically starve out her rumen, okay? Meaning she can no longer run with the goats and browse. And I have to cut back way back on her hay. And what she needs mainly is calories, energy. Okay, so she is on a commercial goat feed, which is the first time that I've put any of my goats on a goat feed. I don't use it. Generally, I feed them, especially when they're pregnant and right after they kid, they're on a combination of alfalfa, a sweet feed. I use the sweet feed that I buy for my horse. It's a low protein, but it's high in oats and low in corn. And so the oats in the sweet feed that um, helps to better balance the calcium phosphorus ratio. Okay, and then I also give them it's a supplement feed. It has a lot of minerals and is high in copper. It's like a calf manna, but it's a different brand. Okay, so I give them a combination of those three things. Uh, Sometimes I will also throw in black oil sunflower seeds because that increases the butter fat for the nursing moms. Um, and that's if I have it. I don't give them a lot of sunflower seeds. I give them a little bit. They do like it. So um, so anyway, so she's no longer on that. I give her mainly the commercial feed. And then I add just a little bit of alfalfa and a little bit of the sweet feed. And that's because I didn't want to shock her rumen. I don't have to give her probiotics or anything like that, but I wanted to keep something in there that um, her microbes were accustomed to. So she and Little Man are together. Little Man has a good weight on him, so I'm not concerned if he happens to lose any weight. Okay. Um, and they get fed twice a day um, with that, and they get a single flake of hay in the morning and a single flake at night. Um, So I'm hoping that that's not too much. He said they still need a little bit of hay, but not like they were getting. So I have to really watch how much they're getting. So, so that's what's going on with sugar. I was talking to a neighbor of mine who he's a vegetarian. Um, he does eat eggs, but he doesn't raise animals to butcher or anything like that. And I asked him if he would be interested in sugar as a pet. And he may very well be interested in her. Um, he has to ask his fiance. So if they are agreeable, they're going to come and meet her. And if they are agreeable, they may take her. Now, he does have to get a second goat. Whether or not it's one of mine or not, I don't know. Um, it kind of depends. I said um, if she has a buckling, I may band him and let you have the two of them together. If she has a doe, well, we'll see what she ends up giving. Okay, what the confirmation is of a doe as to whether or not I keep her daughter or not. So it all depends. But the goats are not here just as pets. The goats are here first to do a job and second to provide an income. Okay, so we'll see. We'll just see what happens. Sugar would make a good pet because she is very sweet. She loves attention. So I think that I don't have a problem with her going on as a pet. And if she goes to my neighbor, then I'll be able to see her. You know, this is what they say: don't get attached to your livestock. Because things happen. I mean, like I don't know. If she wasn't so friendly, maybe I would just send her to market. I don't know, but she is super friendly. So, which is something that where I got my breeding stock from. His goats weren't handled so much; they were just allowed to run, and when he had to handle them, it wasn't necessarily a pleasant experience for the goats. So they were kind of wild, but they've been Coco and Moo have tamed right down. Coco especially. Mama is still a bit aloof. Those are the three originals that I got from him. Of course, Mama was older when I got her, whereas Coco and Moo they were quite young, and so was Billy. Billy was quite young too, um, but still. So anyway, so that's what's going on with Sugar and the goats. Um, it's just one of those things. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I had some sleep last night. Actually, I got woke up about 1:30 this morning because Gracie was barking in her crate. Why was she barking? Because she was cold and she wanted a blanket. So I had to, when I got up, now it has been where, she's barking in the middle of the night because nobody put her out before they went to bed. And so she had to go out and go potty. So thinking that the same thing was going on, even after I had said something to both my son and my husband about it, um, I figured that's what was going on again. So I go down and I open her crate door and she just lays there staring at me. I was like, okay. So I started messing with her blanket. Yeah, she's got a blanket. And I put that over her and she settled right down and went right to sleep. So that's pretty bad when you have to get up in the middle of the night to tuck in a dog. So yeah, that is, I'll tell you, gotta love her. Gotta love her. So she's definitely not a winter type dog. She loves her summer. Um, so that was Gracie. That was why I'm yawning. I'm sure of it. Uh, so anyway, so now the things are drying off. I gotta, like I said, I gotta go throw out pasture seed, and hopefully I can finish up my walls. See, I can't even tell you if if this thing is showing much of my wall. I've got this wall behind me, which you can't see. That's all got the boards on, and I started working on the end wall. Um, so I got to cut some 2x4. Oh man, price of materials. I don't know. I heard that they've gone up again. Since like I just bought two by fours the last time I bought some, and I haven't been able to cut anything on them for about a week because of the weather. Um, because I gotta do all my cutting outside. I don't have room inside. Not to mention it would make a mess. So the two by fours I've got one that hasn't been cut, and I've been cutting on the other because I need to make nailers. Um, because I don't have full 4x8 sheets. They're about 3 feet by 3 feet, so I've got to cut them to match to fit in between the studs that are here. So I don't know. I got to take measurement to see um, if I have to. Yeah, I think I can fit. I think that one corner is going to be a little bit too long. I think that's going to the where the wall and the roof meet. Okay, I got a little triangle here, and I have a feeling that's going to be between the triangle and the stud by the window. I think that's going to be a little bit longer than 3 feet, so I'm probably going to have to cut it and piece that in. But then that just means I just have to cut one 2x4 for across there so that I have a nailer. So it just means I have to use more wood, more 2x4s. Is that cheaper than just buying the 4x8 sheets of wallboard? Yeah, probably. Because if I have to, I can rip the 2x4 lengthwise and have just a smaller pieces to go in there. Even though I'm trying to use the whole width of the 2x4, especially at the floor level, because we've had a mouse problem where, and since it's like balloon construction up to a point, I've had a problem with the mouse coming up from downstairs through the wall. So I'm putting the 2x4s in there so that I can eliminate that possibility. I think we've got all the mice taken care of now. Of course, I said that once before, and we found one. So joys of living in the country, right? Even though I have two mousers and a dog that both love to catch mice. All three love to catch mice. So actually, Mercy is really quite the mouser. She's very eager to go after the mouse. Um, Angel will still catch a mouse, but she's not as apt to kill it. She's more likely to play with it, which is why we ended up having a mouse problem in the house, because she would bring the live mouse in the house and let it go. You're kidding me. Seriously? And then, oh, well, I don't know if she was saving it for later or what the story was. So, but anyway. So, but Mercy is like very aggressive when it comes to a mouse. If she thinks it's there, she's going for it. So, anyway, and Gracie too, she loves mice. Um, if she thinks that Angel has a mouse outside, I have two mice I've been trying to catch. Oh, hey, you want to borrow a cat? Oh, I tell you, I've had sticky traps. They avoid them. I've had the other kind of trap that snaps on them, and if you don't have them set in the right place, they don't work. They are driving me crazy at night. Oh, they in the walls, man, that's the worst. You gotta figure out what will draw them out. I guess peanut butter is a good thing. But I tell you, if you got two, you probably have more than two. Which is, I mean, I thought I had one. Well, come to find out, I had quite a few more than one. So anyway, yeah. Gracie loves mice. And I don't mean to play with. I mean, she loves mice. If she thinks that Angel has a mouse outside, she's begging to go outside, and she will steal a mouse from Angel. So she thinks that's a tasty treat. So I mean, I'm surprised at how many mice I've seen actually. Um, I saw one in the goat barn one time, and I've seen them every now and then. I get them in my feed if I don't have the boards on the feed bins just right. One will get in the feed, and oh well, the ducks. I've seen the ducks go after it. I've seen the chickens go after it. Of course, they tend to be faster than the chickens can get them. Sometimes they can get them, but they're just not as good as like if I have Gracie or if I have a cat, handy, and I get the mouse and I put the container down from to get the mouse, they usually get it. But anyway, terrible thing, huh? But anyway, so I want to touch on something else. Um, I know I kind of like was talking about the truckers last week. This is the first year in 45 years. Can't find where they are getting in. It, and they don't need very much of a hole either. You know, is it possible for them to come up from underneath? I mean, I had to deal with, they were chewing through wires. So, I mean, that can be a really bad situation. Thankfully, I caught it before they chewed through all the insulation. So, but still, that can be nasty. But anyway, it was my husband and I have been having this conversation, and I'm surprised the pastor even brought the subject up in church this morning uh, about um, world events, end times. Um, Now he didn't get into prepping so much as he was more focused on the spiritual aspect of it, which is very important. There's also been a lot of other homesteaders who have been touching on prepping and stuff. And I'll tell you, I want to encourage everybody. Um, Things are getting hairy. Um, you want to try and get yourself in a position where you don't need to run out. You don't need to burn as much gas. Um, stock up on things that you can't take care of yourself as much as you can. I don't know about anybody else, but my husband and I, we are on Social Security. We don't have a lot of disposable income. And I can tell you, my feed bill has gone up, okay, especially for the chickens. Um, it went up about $1 a bag from this month to last month. I get my feed once a month, okay, for my chickens because I buy it when my check comes in, and I buy for the whole month. And I just had enough to get through. Actually, I think I had to buy 2 bags of cracked corn about mid-month. But I kind of planned for that, but it's going up. And I'm thinking of trying to figure out how am I going to feed my birds and my livestock come winter next year if things continue to go the way they're going. How do you prep for that? I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. I held back some black oil sunflower seeds. I'm going to try and plant those, and hopefully I can keep the goats out of them. I'm going to try and plant some things that can be stored that I can feed the animals. Like sweet potatoes are supposed to be good for that, and they seem to be fairly prolific. If I can keep the animals away from it while it's growing, so I can save it for them. There's other things I'm still doing research, but there's other things that you can kind of like put up and save for livestock. Farmers used to use turnips for cattle. Um, I don't know if I want to feed it to a milk cow, because I think that that's one thing that might taint the flavor of the milk. Um, but I'm trying to do what I can. Um, Winter is the hardest time when it comes to livestock because that's when they rely on you for food. I have to admit, I still allowed my birds to free range, and I even allowed my goats to free range. Okay. Um, and there, I was very surprised that the goats are still going out. They're still going out and they're still finding something. Now, they're finding even more now. Daffodils are coming up. Okay. So they are finding, they're not eating the daffodils, but they are finding something. Some things are starting to come up and they're finding something. They're still eating the hay. Like I put hay out in the wagon for them for during that when they come back to the barn area. They'll eat some of that hay. Um, but they are finding something around. They've been going a little bit further afield, but I'm optimistic that this week, with it being sunny and warm, we've had all this rain, that things are going to start popping. There's some things that come up fairly quickly, fairly early, and one is the oh, what do they call them? The wild roses, briars, whatever you want to call them, the sticker bushes. Um, they seem to come up pretty quick. I've noticed some green stems on them. They've also been eating some of the young pine trees that I see out there. They can eat that a little bit. Um, and there's some things that's popping up that's fairly low. I've seen them doing a little bit of grazing. Um, Chucky is starting to graze a little bit in the pasture, so there is grass coming up. I do want to still put some pasture seed out there so that it's got winter rye in it, and that should pop up fairly quickly. Um, and so just trying to get them through so I don't have to use as much hay. Now, one thing I can do is I can downsize some of my animals for the winter. Um, I did sell 5 chickens, four hens and a rooster, and 3 ducks. I need to either sell some more ducks or I need to butcher some more ducks. Well, butcher some ducks because I haven't butchered anything yet. Be honest, I haven't butchered a thing yet. And part of that is because I don't have the running water. Hopefully, I can get that done. See, I need to get the plywood out of the back of my truck, which is why I need to get the walls done inside so I can um, go and get some more material, some more supplies that I need for get the plumbing set up. If I can get that done, um, then that will really be helpful. I've got the lumber already that I need for putting the sink in. I think I've got all the lumber I need. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to finish the shelf that's going flush with the sink, but I have what I need for to support the sink. So um, we'll have to see if I can use pallet wood. I will, but I can't get more pallets until I get the plywood out of the back of my truck. And I can't just leave that out in the weather because this is the kind of plywood it's really cheap. If it gets wet, it's ruined. Okay, and it doesn't take much wet for it to be ruined. So, oh man, I was starting to talk about prepping and talking about that kind of stuff. I tell you, I have a hard time staying on task, don't I? Oh, so anyway, there's not too much I can do, because like I said, we're on Social Security. It's a fixed income. Um, my husband will be able to start collecting on his 401k um, this summer, but that's not going to be a lot of money. That may only just make up whatever difference there is with inflation that we've been seeing. But I'm getting every week, or not every week, every month when I go to get groceries, If they have canning jars in, I'm getting canning jars. Okay. Only one box. I can't afford to get a lot. I'm just getting one case at a time. Okay. I have some cases that I brought with me from New Jersey. It's not enough for what our needs would be for the whole year. Um, so I have got to think about um, what vegetables can be cold storaged. Okay. Um, Potatoes, winter squash, um, carrots, some root vegetables, greens. You can't really save those. So I'm like thinking along those lines. I don't know what I would do for cold storage at this point because we don't have a basement. Okay. Um, and I don't have the money to be able to uh, have someone build a root cellar in Hillside, which is something I had toyed with doing, but it's like at this point in the game, it's too late. I don't have the money. I am on a fixed income too. When my husband died, my income went to nothing. Yeah, I am lucky. God told me to print years ago, and I listened. So I'm pretty much ready for anything. That is good. That is good. You know, if anything happens to my husband, I lose income. Okay. Um, my own personal, my income will go up a little bit, but we won't have each other's income. Okay. So, I've got to really be careful. And he's quite a bit older than I am. So, anyway, yeah, I'm just doing what I can. Like I said to somebody else, you do what you can with what you have to work with, and everything else is in God's hands. I do strongly believe that God expects us to do the best that we can to make preparation, you know, but He also understands that we are limited, based on our circumstances as to what we can do. Um, Now, I'm going to put this out there. Um, Most people don't know where I am anyway, but I did early on when I first saw things start to get a little hairy. Is I bought a victory garden is very important. Yes, and that's going to be one of my focuses. If I have to put getting the interior of this cabin finished on hold, then that's what I will do in order to focus on my garden. I've got to get that done because I've got to be able to get that in because we're gonna have to depend on that. And I've got um, ducks and chickens that I can butcher. Um, Not so much chickens, more so the ducks. Plus, Chucky hopefully will be going to the butcher in September. We'll have him, um, which means that we have to get a new freezer because I don't have space to put him in it. And what I plan on doing is I plan on canning a lot of about half of his meat at least, okay, just for long-term storage. That's the plan at this point, which is one of the reasons why I'm stocking up on the canning jars. Um, Now, anyway, like I was started to say, is I started putting together emergency kits, um, just food, emergency food, and it's just I've got 5 totes. Maybe I shouldn't have even said that, but it's out there now, and in there I have some basic dry goods. Okay, and these things are they all have the same thing. Okay, a couple little things that are just for pleasure. Some just basics like a bag of rice and a bag of beans. Okay, um, nothing canned, all dry goods. Um, and I put that in these totes. Each one has the same thing in it, so that if somebody comes to my door and they are hungry and I don't have much to share, I have that. I can say, here, this is for you. It won't last you forever, but at least it'll give you something, you know. And it's just something I have set aside for just in case. Um, and hey, if it gets to the point, if nobody comes to me looking that needs it, and we need it, it's there. I know where it is. Okay. Um, so, but anyway, I'm trying to think. You know, we love tomatoes and we love, um, the greens and cucumbers and stuff like that. But you know, you can't eat that fresh in the winter. I don't have a greenhouse. I don't have a high tunnel. I wanted to have a greenhouse, a small one, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It all kind of depends. It's on the list, but it's near the bottom of the list. Um, it's just, I wish I could hire someone to do some of the things that takes me so long to do, like putting up fence. I have some fencing here, okay, but I haven't been able to get it put up. I've got some fence posts. I don't have enough fence posts, but I've got some. I've got T posts that are in different places on the property. They need to be pulled up out of the ground and relocated in a more practical location for the fencing that I have. Um, Now, sometimes I've been able to pull some of the T posts out of the ground, but I can't get them all out. So, I keep trying. Maybe if I keep working at it, maybe I'll get them up so I can move them to where I need them the most. Um, and, if I can, I wish I could afford to do that, but I can't. So I'm just going to do the best I can with what I have to work with. You know, any of this stuff, I can do it. It just takes me longer because I'm one person and I'm an old woman. Okay. I mean, it just amazed me because, I did hire, well, he wouldn't take any pay. Um, but I got a young Amish guy to put a couple fence posts in for me because I had to get my gates up. And, and I was amazed how, a hole that would have taken me probably 3 days to get dug. He got it done in what, 15 minutes? It's like, okay, yeah. And it was by hand. Now, if I had been able to get my auger going, sometimes I can get my auger going, sometimes I can't. It probably has something to do with me. Like some days are better for me than other days, What can I say? Uh, but I guess we all have days like that, don't we? Okay, know that feeling. I feel like a turtle. Yeah, yep, exactly. It's hopefully now that things are warming up, because that was the hardest part. I don't know about you, but when it's cold and damp, that is when I had the hardest time getting out to do anything. I get out and I take care of the animals and I get that done. But to get into any other kind of project around here, I have a really hard time getting into it. It just because the dampness and the cold just goes right through you, you know. Um, and my hands are cold and my feet are cold. I can't function as well. So, you just hopefully the spring will be a lot longer than it usually is, so it doesn't get real hot. Um, but even then, I think I'm more productive in the summer than I am in the winter. Um, Pain and cold, yes, yes. Um, and I think I'm more productive in the summer than I am in the winter. In the winter, at least this winter anyway. This is the first year we've had the wood stove, and we were not able to get our wood stored up ahead of time, so we had to, and not knowing exactly how much wood we were going to burn. Um, I had to order wood, and then we had to stack it. And a lot of the wood that he gave us was really too big for me to be able to get in the stove. There was some that was too long, not much, but some that was too long. some that was too big around. Um, and I had to split it. Well, I don't have a gas splitter. I don't have an electric splitter. Um, all I had to begin with was my little hatchet, and there was a video about when I got that, my little hatchet, and I had when we were divvying up my father's tools, um, back when he was getting ready to go to a assisted living facility. That was before he moved into my place. Um, anyway, we were divvying up his tools, and he had a metal wedge, okay, a splitting wedge, and I had enough foresight to grab that. I said I might need that, and I am so glad I did because I have used that with this wood. So I had my little axe, my father's splitting wedge, and I don't know why he had it. Well, yeah, they did have wood for a little bit, but he didn't do that much. Um, the splitting wedge and my little, I think it's a 2 pound sledgehammer. So I had those three things, and I was able to split some wood, okay, and make kindling and whatnot. I mean, it tore up my elbow, but I was able to do it. And then after a little bit, I got this thing from Harbor Freight. It's a pipe, okay, and it's a pipe inside a pipe, and the bottom of the one uh, pipe it's got like a metal wedge, okay, you know, um, and it slides and it's like it hammers it down. But with that thing, I don't have to swing it, okay? I can get it up on the log and I set it and then I give it a couple of taps and then I can really go at it, okay? And I've been able to split that with that thing. Once figured out the best way of using it, then it was all right. I could do it, okay? The first time or two that I did it, I had a really hard time and I couldn't handle it and I put it aside for a while. But then I found a couple of logs that looked like they were pretty easy to split. So I figured, well, I'll give that thing a try again. And I did, and I got it to work. It's like, okay, I've got it now. I figured it out. This is how I can do it. So, and that is easier on my elbow than the little axe and the sledgehammer and the splitting wedge. Um, sometimes I still use that, but if I can use the big, the long pike thing, I don't know what you call the thing, but it's Harbor Freight has it, and it was like 25 bucks, okay, which is cheaper than even the manual hydraulic splitter, which is what I would have liked to have had, but this thing is working out okay. um, I don't have to get it up real high. I can set it down low and I can kind of brace the log with my leg if I have to. So it's working. I'm getting it to work, okay. So so I've done that. I have things like here's something that was interesting. I have used a chainsaw since I was 12. Oh, well, good for you. So I do have a chainsaw, but still the wood needs to be split. Yes, exactly. Um, and I need to make a sawing sawhorse. We have the V's like that. So you put the log in there and you cut it on that. I need to make one that is small enough to handle the logs that I'm getting from this guy. Um, and so then I can use my chainsaw, which is just a small one. And if the chain is staying on, I was having a problem with the chain slipping for some reason. Anyway, if I can get that to work, I ought to be able to cut up some of the bigger stuff um, that's just a little bit too big for my stove. And the smaller pieces are easier for us to handle too. You know, I try to save a big one for um, putting in at nighttime. I get a good bed of coals and I put a big log in there, and so that hopefully come morning there's enough coals in there that it's easy to start the fire. But having some good kindling helps too. Uh, yes. Um, so anyway, so we've got that, but I got some kind of a news alert on my phone this morning, and I really don't know what it indicated. Um, but it was something about Putin uh, doing something with his nuclear. Um, oh, what was I think I deleted the message, so I can't even go back and say what it is. I think I deleted it. Yeah, I deleted it. Um, anyway, it was something to do with nuclear personnel, I think, um, and something like having them, you know, do something, get ready or something. I didn't completely understand what the message meant, but it was nuclear, and it's like, okay, what is he thinking about doing? I mean, this has been something that has been a concern since I was a little girl, because we know Russia has nuclear weapons, and something that got me thinking. Now, it's so strange. Um, I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm like, I'm not sure how to describe how I feel. Like, okay, this is a piece of information. I don't know how it's going to pan out. Um, but I'm not real worried. I'm not real concerned. There's an underlying piece, and I'm not sure how to explain that other than that. There's an underlying piece. Um, like, I'm not overly concerned about us, but I was thinking that, okay, is he planning on striking some of the NATO forces with nuclear weapons? Is he planning on um, excuse me, setting off an EMP? Like, this is something that's been put out there for years, about the possibility of an EMP. I know that um, Billy from Perma Pasture, was it Perma Pasture? Maybe it was Perma Pastures. I don't remember. I'm real bad at with names. Anyway, he got an EMP protection device for his electric grid. Well, it's like it's over $300. I looked at it, and it's like, you know, it's not really something that's a lot of money to put out. Okay, and I'm like, it may very well be, heavens bound, it may very well be, and I think you're right. Because there's not a worry there. I mean, there's not worry. There's not a real heavy concern. It is an underlying piece, and it may very well be. You know, that's exactly what it is. Um, but it's like in the back of my mind. Okay, is he thinking about shooting off uh, and causing EMPs? Okay. Do you have an aluminum garbage can? No, I don't. Um, the closest thing I have to that is my ash can. Um, but it's like the only thing that I would worry about is my freezer, my refrigerator, especially from the summer. Hey, we've lived without a refrigerator before, um, for a short time when we first moved here. Before we got the refrigerator moved here. So I mean, if I have to, I have to. I mean, but there's things that we can do, like we have the well, okay, and you can use a well as a refrigerator. It's inconvenient. It's not nearly as convenient as having a refrigerator, but it is something that I can use if I can get a like a wire rack to put things in that are sealed, um, that I can set down in the well. That will help to refrigerate stuff. Okay. Um, and there's there's also the creek if it's running. Okay, if we have a dry spell that's um, more than a month long, the creek will dry up. Okay, but I guess there's also the pond. I'm not sure how cold that stays, but I don't know what the bottom of that pond is like. So I don't know. I think I'd be more apt to use the well as a place to cool things um, when it's necessary. But there's a you'd be surprised what you can do um, without refrigeration. You just got to be mindful of it. You know. Um, yeah, I know your trash cans can be used as a Faraday cage, but I don't know if my cabin would act as any sort of a Faraday cage. We do have a metal roof. We have a metal roof. The barn has a metal roof. The goat barn is metal roof with metal walls. Both goat barns are the main goat barn and the buck barn. Um, they're not fully enclosed, but they have doorways. So I don't know. There's an old stove down in the junk pile that I need to get moved up, but that's going to be a chore because it's all downhill. So I mean, there's things you can do, I guess. Looks like it would. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But it's. I said I'm not real worried about it. I really am not. Um, an EMP won't kill you. It'll make life inconvenient, but it won't kill you. Um, but one thing I think that I do want to try to stock up on is salt, because that would be one thing I cannot provide for myself is salt. So I think that's one thing I may try to make an effort to stock up on. But I have things here that I can use that does not require electricity. Okay. Um, I have a meat slicer that is manual. It's got a really sharp blade and it's supposed to be for frozen food, but I think I can use it. I've got a hand grinder. I've got um, it doesn't grind wheat or anything. It's for grinding meat. Um, I've got a mandolin for slicing. Okay. The only thing that I do have is I have like the electric stove. We use electricity for cooking. Except for in the summer I use the propane grill. But I mean I could set up something outside for cooking on a fire. I've got the cinder blocks and whatnot. I could rig up a better um, grill and use wood. I could do that. But you know, having an electric stove in the house is convenient. So, and I do have some electric appliances, and they're convenient. But you can do it without electricity. Now, the only thing that um, would be that I would have a hard time doing without. Well, I've been doing without it anyway, haven't I? For the past 3 years, is running water. But it's like because the water pump works on electricity. So I don't know if I just open my tap if I've got enough of a elevation to. We have done a lot out of nothing. Yes, we would survive better than those that has a lot. Do you have yeast and flour? Um, No, I have a little bit of flour. We don't use a lot of it. Okay, right now we don't use a lot of it. Um, so I have a little bit of flour. I don't have yeast. I know how to make bread. I've done it before. Um, but I mean, we just don't use a lot of it. Um, that is something I might consider doing. Is getting some flour ready for storage. You freeze it first because I have had problems with weevils in grains. We in flour and other grains, I've had problems with weevil. So anything like that, I put in the freezer first, and then I put it in a Ziploc bag. Okay, after it's been in the freezer for a while. So I do that, but because I had a lot of that kind of stuff stored up in New Jersey, and I ended up throwing it all away because it was full of bugs. So I learned my lesson. It goes in the freezer, and then it gets put into airtight Ziploc bags or something like that, and stored that way. I don't have Mylar bags. I don't know. I mean, that's an investment. Um, and your oxygen absorbers, that's an investment. And it's just, yeah, it's nice to have those things, but, not all of us can afford to put that kind of expense out, and I had a hard time. I said I got those bins. I had a hard time finding lids for buckets because I wanted buckets, and I couldn't find lids. Bay leaves keeps them out. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that then. I know it now. I use non-canning jars. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would work. That would work. Yep. And I do have some bay leaves. I don't know if I can grow the bay leaf tree or not. I'm not sure what it looks like. I have to look into that, I guess. It'd be nice if we could grow bay right here, huh? I don't know if that's a tropical plant or not, but I guess you just buy a bunch of bay leaves. I mean, one bay leaf goes a long way. Um, so, but anyway, I've been on this for over an hour, and I don't usually go this long. So, and I really do have to get that seed out there in the pasture. So, I am going to let you go, and whoever else might be on. I don't know if anybody else showed up or not. Maybe they don't want to hear this kind of topic. I don't know. And I don't know why my computer was not letting me see me. I guess maybe my face broke the camera. I don't know. But you said you could hear me and you could see me. So I'll take your word for it. And who knows? Maybe it'll smarten up next time around. I don't know. So, bay plants, easy to grow? Okay, I'll have to look into that because I didn't know. So, but the first thing I got to do is get raised beds and get them filled and get the fence up. So I have to buy the fence. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with welded wire for the garden fence. So I think that'll pretty much keep them out. So not quite the same as trying to keep something in. You want something a little stronger for keeping something in. For keeping it out, I think the welded wire will do the job. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Alrighty, I will talk to you later. I'm still trying to figure out about how I'm going to get videos up. I'm not sure on that. But we'll see. Hopefully I can get something figured out, even if it's not edited like I used to edit and with the fancy thumbnails and all that. Get something up there. Let you see what I have done so far. Let you see the rainwater catchment system, how that's coming along. And everything else I've been doing, rather than just sitting here in front of the computer screen and all you see is this wood. So anyway, all right. I will talk to you next week. If not before, we'll see how things go. Okay. Take care and get things ready.